The Cowboys beat the Lions 20-19 and missed a controversial call to end the game. We'll get into that controversial call here in just a second, but I thought Jared Goff was, pretty solid in this game early on. He was solid on the first drive. Dallas's defense locked him up and they forced a field goal. We had the beautiful interception, the beautiful interception on Dak Prescott in the first quarter of this game, but Dak had an immaculate 92-yard touchdown to CeeDee Lamb in this one. It was a great blitz by the Lions, but an even better illusion and or way to elude the pressure by Dak, and the throw was just absolutely amazing. After not scoring on the interception or the touchback fumble by Dallas, talking about the Lions here, the fake punt was really what Detroit needed for that spark to get back into this game. But Dallas's defense, again, they stood very tall with the goal line stand against Gibbs and Laporta, absolutely shutting it down. And this game was a little bit of a snooze fest, going into the fourth quarter, tied at 10-10. I thought Goff had an amazing bomb of a throw to Jamison Williams, just a huge heave to him down the field. Jamison Williams is there. Goff picked up on it and immediately sent it downfield, made it a great play. But CeeDee Lamb, man. CeeDee Lamb. He's just unguardable in this game. And he has been all year. Over 200 yards. Gotta love the NFL giving him the random drug test immediately after the game, not wasting any time. CeeDee's like, y'all think I'm not that good? I am that good. Don't worry, I'll give you this clean sample back so you can watch me go out and put another 250 next week. But CeeDee Lamb was just so unguardable in this game. He's been making plays all year. Brandon Cooks had a nice fourth quarter catch over the shoulder, along with the touchdown later on in the same drive, if I'm not mistaken. Tony Pollard just made plays all games, very ferocious on the ground. Love to see him still continuing to run the football at a high level. Beautiful, well-timed interception as well by Wilson on Goff in the fourth quarter. Back and forth fourth quarter for both of these teams, really stops, big plays. These guys just were going back and forth all game long. And I don't want to say that it came down to the final call with these two guys, but as it stands, some people might feel that way. Tyreek equals MVP. Yeah, it's very possible, man. It is very, very possible. I hate that he's fell short of the 2K season, but if he goes out and has a 300-yard game, he'll have it, and he might just swipe the MVP right into his arms. But they do have to play the Buffalo Bills. Aiden Hutchinson was an absolute monster in this Cowboys-Lions game. 3 sacks, 5 solo tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble, and he just really controlled a lot of this football game. 9.5 sacks on the year. I'm glad Aiden Hutchinson is starting to come around as a player for the Lions. I never thought he was a bust. I always thought he was a great pick, and I thought the Lions should have doubled down last year with picking another defensive lineman as well. They turned out to be a solid football team this year. I do think that Cinderella run is coming to an end because I am pretty worried about them as they head into the playoffs, like I am with the Eagles, like I am with the Chiefs. But Aiden Hutchinson played very, very well in this game. Let's talk about the controversy around the linemen reporting on the 2-point try. Did the referees get it right? It's really some he said, she said BS at this moment because Decker was lined up correctly, and footage appears to show that he did report. Jared Goff tells him to go over to the ref and report. It looks like Decker walks over to the ref and reports, but the ref slowly starts to trot away. So you start to ask the question of, did the ref even hear him report? Did he report correctly? X, Y, and Z. But the ref said that the other O-lineman reported and not Taylor Decker. Either way, it was a great play that was negated by an awful call from the referees based on what the footage showed us. And Dan Campbell possibly even got too tricky in this game because he admitted to trying to confuse Dallas on who reported eligible. Brad Allen said he thought number 70, who seemed to be pretty far away from him compared to Taylor Decker, to where Taylor Decker was just really a stone's throw away from the referee. It seemed like that Decker had reported correctly, and that number 70 was fairly far away from the referee. But Dan Campbell now admitting openly they were trying to confuse Dallas, and rightfully so. It was a trick play. You threw it to your lineman. But from what this footage showed me, the refs messed it up again. And I'll be damned if I didn't just post a video of when Kadarius Toney was called off sides. Now, hindsight, did the refs get it right there? No, because they've been blowing not calling offensive offsides for a while this season. Now, the play has been called more over the last 3 years. We talked about that. Everyone's talked about that. But the NFL knows that these refs messed up because they immediately come out and say, we're demoting you. You're not working in the postseason. But in the same freaking breath, we're going to let you officiate the Steelers-Ravens game in the final game of the year, Week 18, which is nationally televised. Yeah, you and your crew get to officiate that, which, a lot of games have playoff implications this weekend. That's the fun about Week 16, 17, and 18 is playoff implications are starting to form. You're starting to see what is and what isn't going to happen, who's going to go to the postseason. Among everything, though, I still put this one back on the most aggressive team in the NFL, which is the Detroit Lions, led by their head coach Dan Campbell, who nobody goes for it more than fourth down at 35% rate more than Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Why not just kick the field goal to tie it? I learned a new word today. It's called hubris. It means excessively confident. Going for it for two to win the game, you call the right play. And it looks like, based on the NFL's reprimand of demoting them down to the postseason, that you called the right play. You should have went up 21-20, and Dallas would have had whatever amount of time to come back and win the game. Yes, you could have also kicked it to easily tie it, not even have to worry about this. But in the same breath, I'm also going to say going for two on the 7-yard line and not kicking it is just beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Playoff implications. You have the chance to go get the 2 seed. In the NFC, you're the Detroit freaking Lions this year. You're playing with house money. A lot of people thought you were going to be great. You've had a couple of letdowns as the end of the season came around. And this is what your head coach, Dan Campbell, decides to do. Among all that, though, people just want to say, oh, it was just, one play. This is what Dan Campbell does. Well, one, it lost you the game. Two, I'm going to use that word again. It was hubris. And three, from the 7, it just wasn't the right call. Hindsight. Yes, we understand you called the right play, but the penalty wiped that off the board. And it's been clear that the refs and Roger Goodell are not going to overturn a wrongly called call, which is unfortunate because it's kind of ruining the game. But there were 3 aggressive plays in this game for Dan Campbell. There was a fake punt, which was a good call, obviously because it worked. Detroit needed that momentum. I mentioned that earlier on. But in the same possession of that fake punt, there was a 4th and 4 at the Cowboys' 4-yard line. Dan Campbell passed up a chip shot field goal to go for the touchdown. Jared Goff threw it to Sam Laporte. It was incomplete. Right there, you win the game if you just take those points. Hindsight. Final possession of the game, touchdown pass to wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown makes it 20-19. Of course, Dan Campbell goes for it. Didn't work. The officials got together. The Lions violated the rules, so they said. Clearly, they got it wrong. So Dan Campbell was aggressive 3 times in this game. And, really you could say 2 times paid off to the refs wiped one away, so only 1 time it paid off. And, they go for it from the 7, and it's just absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. The Lions should have won this game. People are saying the Lions got robbed. They could have sent the damn game to overtime. But Dan Campbell wants to bite off one kneecap, and when they get back up, they're biting another kneecap, and we're going to punch you in the mouth and then turn around and hit you with a left hook and then break your leg, just alluding to his, his attitude and the way that he had his speech when he was first hired, by the Lions. But Cowboys win this game, 20-19. Thought Dak played well. I thought both teams played well, realistically. Again, it was kind of a snooze fest, stalemate, 10-10 going into the fourth quarter. Couple of big plays. Aiden Hutchinson was a big highlight of this one. Dan Campbell's aggression will continue to be talked about, whether it's a win or loss with the Detroit Lions. But I want to hear from y'all in the chat, in the comments. Thoughts on Damar Hamlin projected to win Comeback Player of the Year? I've seen a lot of messed up memes about this. Damar Hamlin, I don't think he even has played 20 snaps this year. Is his story great? Yes. But Joe Flacco should arguably win Comeback Player of the Year. Or someone who's had more of an impact than Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin's story is fantastic. And I even said it. It's going to be the biggest layup gimme award that we've probably ever seen in the history of the sport, next to when Alex Smith came back because he broke his leg and damn near had to have it taken off. So knowing how the NFL acts in that aspect, Damar Hamlin's probably going to win the award. Do I think he should, though? No. But we'll talk about those awards in about a few weeks here on the show as the NFL awards are just a month away.